Okay, Jennifer, so you probably thought I forgot about you, but I've actually been making this video over and over and over again, and I keep messing up. I am not good at editing videos, so I just start over. So here's take 40. So the first thing I did is I went in and I just copied your stock setup settings or job setup settings. And then the next thing I did is I imported your um, vectors, your SVG, and I'm going to group that and center it on the stock. And then I'm going to ungroup it, and I'm going to make a couple different groups here. So first I'm going to do the stars. Actually, I'm going to do the stars and the name, because I'm trying to make this look exactly like yours. Although I think the one you sent me was a little different than the one you did, because I know the name was up here farther, but not important. So I'm going to make that one group, and then I'm going to make the badge one group. And then I'm going to make the stars one, or sorry, the stripes one group. All right, and then the next thing I'm going to do is go to this model tab, and I realize you've already done all this. This is how I would tackle this project. Import one of the wavy flags. This looks like the one you have, so I imagine we got them from the same place. And then this height here and the base height, you want it to be pretty close to what your stock thickness is. So I'm using arbitrary numbers here. You can absolutely change these. This is how I would do it. I would start off with 0.25 for the height, and then the stock height I'm going to make 0.35. And for merge type we're going to do add, and I will name this wavy stock. All right, and then we're going to look at that. Sure, that looks good. Okay, next I'm going to bring in the stars and the name. And for that, I'm going to go in here, create a component, change it to flat. And for this height, I'm just going to use 0.1. Again, you can change that. That's just how I would tackle this project. I might even go smaller than that, but we'll start with 0.1 and see how that looks. And then we're going to subtract that from our wavy stock. So we have that. That looks all right. Name. So let's see what 0.05 looks like. Okay, that's a little too shallow. Maybe not. It's hard to see in this dark wood, simulated wood. All right, let's stick with 0.1. And click done. And then next I'm going to do the stripes. And it's the same process. We'll start with 0.1. Name that stripes. And I'm going to keep that on add. See what that does. So, yeah, that looks like what you have. Again, it's hard to see on this dark wood. Let me change that to 0.05. See how that looks. That actually doesn't look half bad. And we can always delete it and come back and do a new one. All right, next I'm going to do the badge. Same process. Change this to flat. I'm going to try 0.05 on that one as well. Patch, not badge. And keep that as add. So that. Try 0.1, but I think that's going to be, oops, a little bit too deep. Don't worry about these jagged. That's just the rendering. It won't actually come out like that. I'm going to stick with 0.05. And hit done. Alright, so here's our, actually, let's do that, see it a little bit better. So that's what we have now. And then for the tool paths, this is where I think there was some confusion. So I actually need to come in here and ungroup that patch. So we're going to select this full outer rectangle and do a 3D rough toolpath. I'm going to use a 1/4 inch bit and change the depth per pass. I'm just going to change it to 0.2. Leave that the same. I'm going to up this to 35. I don't think that's going to make a whole lot of difference. So 11 minutes for that, and then keeping that outer rectangle selected, the 3D finish toolpath, and unfortunately tried several different settings on this, and 1/16 is about the smallest it's going to work for this part. And then this step over has to be changed if you're using the Carbide library. They keep this at 50% or 40%, whatever, and it needs to be down in the 10% range. So for 1/16, 0.007, and you can increase this speed and plunge to get a little bit faster. I mean, it's going to take a long time to do this, especially a flag this size. You know, I've never done a 3D project this big because I don't have the patience. I've done some. The biggest one I think was probably about 8 by 5 maybe, or 4. 8 inches by 4 inches. Alright, so look at the simulation. I don't know how many hours 479 minutes is. But so we've got some good detail on the name. The stars look pretty good. Maybe a little bit rounded. So the next, look at the badge and you can see that the detail's just not, it's just not there. Like this town, kind of the letters run together. And Fitchburg, there's no middle part of that F and those kind of things. So to get this detail, we can go in and select just this vector right here and do another 3D finish toolpath, and this time use a smaller bit. So I think you said you had a 1/32, and I have never used 1/32, so I have no idea what the feed and plunge rates are going to be, but I'm going to go something like that. And again, you have to change the step over, so 0.004 ish. And yeah, it's going to take a long time. Click OK. This one's going to take a long time to calculate and render. So I don't know what it's going to end up being, but I'm going to guess somewhere around the 10-hour range. 9 or 10 hours for this. I mean, a bigger bit, you're not going to get the detail. Smaller bit, you just have to You have to decide if it's worth it. All right, so see this simulation, it should be pretty good. So if you zoom in here, now you can see that we have, you know, you can read the word town and city and Fitchburg. And then the seal on the patch looks good. So that is how I would tackle this project. Again, I have never used a 1/32 ball mill. I don't know how easy it is to break. I imagine pretty easy. But that's how I would do it. Hope this helps.